So this video topic was spurred on by a podcast that I listened to last week on my long run, the Rich Roll podcast, and his guest was Olympic runner Alexi Pappas. And in that, she was talking about this concept of being committed to your goals versus interested in your goals. So I can't share the video clip legally, so I will share in a nutshell what she said and also link the video below in case you want to watch it. So Alexi Pappas shares that every athlete faces a moment where they have to ask themselves, am I interested in this goal or am I committed to this goal? So those who are interested will find reasons to not make it happen. They will make excuses, or they might quit when it gets hard. Whereas those who are committed to the goal will have this do whatever it takes mentality and keep showing up no matter what. So essentially, to achieve your goal, you have to be committed. So in this video, we're going to dig a little bit deeper, and I want you to ask yourself these questions that I'm going to go through to find out if you are truly committed and on the right course and path to achieve that goal you have set for yourself. So number one, do you know what it will actually take to achieve your goal? So this is something common that I see, that I will have athletes come to me and they tell me that they want to run a certain time or qualify for Boston, or perhaps run a certain distance without walking, but they don't actually realize the type of work that it takes to achieve that goal. And so this is really the first step in the process, is you have to do your homework and you have to really have a true understanding of the work that it's going to take to get there. So an example of this would be that I've talked on this channel before about these calculators that you can use and plug in like a 5K or 10K time, and it will tell you what you can run for a marathon. Well, what people don't realize is the sheer amount of work that it takes to actually achieve that time that calculator is saying that they have the potential to do. It does not mean that you can go out and run that marathon time tomorrow, or even on the training that you've done in the past, or with that maybe marathon training plan that you've printed out, that it's probably going to take a lot more work than you realize. And so it's your responsibility to figure out what that is and own that. Number two, are you willing to make the sacrifices necessary to achieve this goal? Going to bed early, cutting out alcohol, running on your lunch break, skipping social functions, and the list goes on. And the bigger your goal is, the more sacrifices you're going to have to make. Number three, do you avoid using phrases like I'm too busy or I couldn't find any time in my day to get that done? So I'm here to tell you guys that everyone is busy. So if you find yourself saying that and using that as a reason to why you cannot achieve your goal, I would encourage you to really look at your schedule and your day and determine if that is actually true or not. Yes, there are going to be some people who truly in their lives right now, going after that particular goal does not make sense for them. And then that's when you need to recognize that and know that you are at the interest level of your goal, that you're not actually committed to it right now. That doesn't mean that you can't be in the future. I have worked with the absolute busiest people you could think of, but they have these very, very big goals and they're willing to do whatever it takes. So perhaps they're running at 4:30 a.m. every single morning before work, because they know that is literally the only time that it is going to get done in their day, that if they wait, it will not get done. So those who are truly committed to the goal are going to take that busyness portion out of the equation and know there's a will, there's a way, and they're going to figure it out. Number four, do you have a running routine in place? So commitment to a running goal typically means that you have already established a running habit and you have a routine that you are able to stick to no matter what. Meaning that you have blocks in your day that are carved out just for running. You're not waking up, flying by the seat of your pants, wondering when the heck you're going to get this run in. So the less time that you spend deciding when and where you're going to complete your runs, the more likely you are to actually get them done. 5, are you prepared to do the work even when you don't want to? So I think that there is this thought that people who run really high mileage or are qualifying for Boston or running these ultra marathons, that they want to run all the time, that they're super motivated, when That couldn't be further from the truth. Yes, they probably really do love and enjoy running, otherwise they wouldn't be doing it. But that doesn't mean that they get up every morning wanting to go out for their run, early in the morning or on their lunch break or whatever it might be. They have moments too of not wanting to do it. They just don't let themselves even think about the possibility of not getting it done. It's discipline over motivation. Number 6, are you willing to keep pushing toward your goals even when they get hard? So let's remember, guys, that if goals were easy, then they wouldn't be goals. So you will face challenges on your path and on this journey to achieving this goal. Those roadblocks aren't if, but when. They are absolutely inevitable. The reality is that it likely isn't going to happen on the first try, or maybe the third try, or even the 5th try. But those who are committed don't give up and stay the course, knowing that success doesn't happen overnight. This is a big one, but do you take responsibility for not just your successes, but also your failures? So it's common to hear runners talk about other runners who are faster than them as if they were born with all of their talent. And it's much easier for someone to say that instead of perhaps facing the reality that that person is doing more work than they are doing. It's also easier to maybe blame the reason for you not getting your run in on having too much work, or your boss is putting way too much on your plate, as opposed to you actually looking at your schedule and realizing that if you cut out that hour a day of social media, that you could have fit in your run that you needed to do. So that woe is me attitude, placing blame, it's not serving you in any way, shape, or form. And if you're doing that, that's really just showing that you are only interested in the goal and not actually committed to doing the work necessary to achieve it. So, real talk. If after going through these questions, you are perhaps finding that you're not as committed to your goal as you thought that you were, you have the ability to change that. You can take the steps necessary to actually become more committed in doing what you need to do to achieve that goal. If it's a routine that you're struggling with, or just really knowing the actual steps needed to get from point A to point B, perhaps it's as simple as hiring a running coach or joining an online training group. And if those things interest you, I will place a link below and that you can see what options I have available, as I would love to work with you and get you on that path to being more committed to the goal that you have for yourself. So guys, this really isn't a tough love video from me. It's just an opportunity to give you a chance to look at your goal with a little bit different lens and really take a step back and figure out how committed you truly are to the goal. Because yeah, you don't want to get to a start line expecting a certain time for this race, for example, that you actually haven't done the work necessary to achieve, because yeah, you're only going to be disappointed over and over and over again. And honestly, that happened to me with my marathons in my 20s, that I thought I could do a lot better than I did. And looking back after the fact, I just didn't do the work necessary. And so if you can see that ahead of time, you can change that, or you can free yourself from that goal at this point in time, knowing that you can have a growth mindset, that maybe you're just not ready yet, but that you will be and can be in the future. Ultimately, it's just important to be honest with yourself that you are doing what it takes to be committed to your goal, because only then will you be in a position to make it happen.